In this video, I'll be soundproofing this door. Let's keep it under $20. I did a video about this very thing a little over a year ago. It's doing very well. However, I found a product that will, in my opinion, work even better than the one that I used in that video. In that video, I used a Weatherstrip along with a door sweep, a U-shaped door sweep. Now, basically both of those things cost around $20 combined, and you have a self-adhesive weather strip on both sides and on top, and then you have the door sweep. Now, the difference in this video, I will not be including the U-shaped door sweep in the $20 door soundproofing. That U-shaped door sweep costs around $12 to $13 depending on where you buy it from. I'll have links in the description below for everything I talk about in this video, and also there's QR codes if you're watching on your TV, just to make it a lot easier for you. Now in this updated video, I have a new type of weather seal kit. I guess it's a door seal kit because you have both sides and the top. Now this one is not a self-adhesive. I find self-adhesive a lot of the times, if you're opening and closing the door all the time, if it's not just a furnace room where you go in there seldomly, the self-adhesive weather strip, especially if it's a really budget one, can start to unstuck. So this one will be screwing it on. Even if you live in a rental apartment, you can still install one of these. All you need to do is, before you leave, you can remove it and just buy a little tube of spackle, mud, and just seal those holes, fill in all those small holes, and you're done. All you'll need really for this, if you live in a rental, if you don't have that many tools, I figured I'd make this quite easy. All you need is a pair of pliers because we want to be cutting this to size. This one is universal. It's 36-inch wide, 84-inch tall. So we'll have to trim it down using pliers, and you have some screws that comes with it. Phillips screwdriver can do the trick if you don't have a drill. We'll just do it with a screwdriver. But first, before we begin installing the door seal kit, I'll want to take a decibel test. Even if you only decrease the amount of noise by, let's say, 3-4 decibels, might not sound like a lot, but this is an inexpensive way to cut down on a couple of decibels. Just to give you perspective, if you cut it down to 10 decibels, essentially you're cutting down the amount of noise that your ears can perceive, can hear. Every 3 decibels, you're cutting the energy of that noise, of that sound, in half. But every 10 decibels is how we hear it. So every little bit helps. If you add a door sweep, few decibels here. Now, the reason why there's a lot of noise coming through doors, interior doors inside a home, is because most doors are hollow. And a hollow door, usually it's just held together by a cardboard honeycomb contraption, and a lot of noise gets through right through the door. But a lot of noise gets through around the door. Anywhere there's a crack, you want to seal that if it doesn't restrict airflow. Now, if it does restrict airflow by adding a door sweep, then just don't add the door sweep and just stick with the door seal kit. One easy test to see if it does restrict airflow: put a blanket at the bottom of the door, seal that gap, and you'll find out pretty quick to see if the room gets quite stuffy. All right, first we will be taking a decibel reading. Now around 43, 44 decibels, 56, 57 decibels. So this door is cutting. Here I have some pretty loud white noise, which should mimic a little bit of everything. Now that sound is a little bit inconsistent because it mimics, let's say, a television that you're trying to soundproof. All right, now let's install that door seal kit and see how much noise actually reduces. And one way to see if you have a pretty big gap around the door or at the, of course, the bottom, is just turn all the lights off in the room that you're in, turn the lights on in the other side, close the door, and then you'll be able to see the light shining through. Wherever you see light coming through, you'll hear the noise coming through that same crack. So you want to seal those. Now what you want to do, you want to attach the weather strip right on to the inner door stop. I'm just going to measure it. Okay, so now that I've got it pretty well measured, you can just grab some industrial scissors, really, or pliers. But these scissors does do the trick, because that piece of aluminum is quite thin, and your scissors shouldn't have any problems cutting that. Now let's see. In. Perfect. Now the bottom, I just need to, now as you can see, I have it tight towards the top, all the way to the bottom. Now you'll have that extra little piece of weather strip that you can cut, and then just make sure that it touches the floor. I'll close the door and be able to see exactly where I want to attach it. Now, I want to attach it so right when the door closes, it presses against the weather strip. Now that's perfect. Now I'll grab the other one, cut it, cut the top, and install them. Now we'll do the same thing for the top section. All right, now that the top and sides are there, you have a plastic tube full of screws. You can just use a screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and screw them on. Now, if this type of kit doesn't really appeal to you and you'd want something a little bit less industrial, then you can go with a weather strip. They're a lot cheaper, but they don't work as good as this type of door seal kit. This seals really well all around the door. If you have a bigger budget than $20, you can go a step further, of course, and change this hollow core door with a more solid core door. The difference is, like I said earlier, this is just held together by a bunch of cardboard. However, a solid core door can cost about double the price than a hollow core. The inside is solid. And that's what's going to stop most sound waves, is mass. The more mass you have, the more dense mass you have, the less noise that's going to be able to get through. It is a lot better in terms of noise reduction than a hollow core door. Okay, now I'm going to screw the top. And a little trick here, since the hole is bigger than the screw, just put it in the hole and then push the weather strip up against the door as tight as you can, and that is where you want to have your screw go in. And that is tight around the door. Really, for around $20 to install this door seal kit, it's really not that much money and not that much of a big job. And as you can see, this door seal kit, when I started talking about it, looked pretty industrial, but as it's installed, it doesn't really pop out that much. Since it's the same color as the frame and the door, that's a much better seal. But let's play some noises, same things we had. All right. Between 47, 48, 50. All right, now just the white noise. 48, 49, so you did see a reduction by around 1 decibel, 1.5 decibel, just by adding a door seal kit. Now that's pretty significant, thinking that you can actually reduce that type of noise by just 20 minutes of your time, 30 minutes, and $20. Now this door already has a U-shaped door sweep, all installed, it's stuck there. However, I want to show you a before and after sound test of how much reduction in noise are you to expect by just going a little bit further than $20 and spending an extra $12, $13 for a U-shaped door sweep. You'll be quite impressed by how much noise it reduces. And also, as I said about airflow, one thing I like about the U-shaped door sweep is that it is easily removable. So if you just want noise reduction for a short period of time, you want to soundproof people out there or yourself inside, then you can install it and remove it once you're done. All right, so there you have it. Soundproofing a door for $20, or I guess noise reduction. If you like more budget, cheapest soundproofing videos, right there. This one, entire room for $20. Well, maybe not 20, maybe $50. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, assuming you subscribed.